Okay, good morning to all you fellow TIs out there and fellow non-TIs out there. I'm making this video. I don't really have much time here, but I'm making this video to announce that I will be having a new playlist on the channel. I'm eventually going to have this on a guide channel as well, but until then, I'll leave a comment on the recent video on the guide channel to let people know that there is a new playlist put in on this one. What this is going to do, basically, from all your negative type of emotions, from fear, hate, lust. Lust isn't really always a bad thing, but it depends on what it's really being used for. In this case, like when it comes to these weapons, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's aware of what they've been doing with that. And it's not even just that. Like I've been hit with a lot, but I want to be able to create something, or at least put something together for other people so they'd be able to fight against that. You know, the most important thing for all of us to do, whether you are a targeted individual or not, is to raise your spiritual vibrations, because it's when you raise your spiritual vibrations is when you have more and more control and more of a connection with the creator of all. I believe that though many of us may see religion in different factors, I believe everything boils down to a path that's just laid out for us individually. We make connections along the way, but there's just that one spiritual like path that we must follow that is meant for us, as an individual. Whether It doesn't matter what your nationality is. Doesn't matter what your beliefs lie. It doesn't matter as long as your heart is in the right place. That's all that really matters. But in this case, this organization that stems to do stuff like this, they seek to threaten that. I look back at the times when I was a child, going all the way up to around the 21st century, and I noticed that there was a massive change, a big one. Things aren't the same like they used to be. It's crazy because like you can't just go out and go fishing anymore. You can't go out and just spend some time camping or anything like that, mountain climbing, bike riding, or just going out hunting and stuff like that, Just thinking about all the stuff that you would normally do back then. Apparently, as I stated before, the greatest enemy of this criminalized organization that's doing this was the people who they've hired. I wasn't joking about that when I said it. And naturally, if you've seen the news about Q, well, that's precisely what I was getting at. When they hire people and then they treat those people rotten, which is gonna happen, they'll cut them off. Those people are gonna turn around and basically spill the beans about certain situations to literally, expose them. They start exposing each other, and which wrecks the whole thing. And then eventually you find the main culprit who's responsible. This has been the common thing that has been happening for years. So understand, don't be surprised if they even try to still use more and more tactics to discredit the situation in order to hide. Don't be surprised if they try to use a scenario like this to discredit other fellow TIs, because they've been doing that for years. They've done that for years, even before this stuff has gotten bad. But there's one thing you need to remember. The corruption, the lies, the deceitfulness, all of that was literally spread out right in your face. You can't make that up. You can't make the hospitals lying about how many people are in their hospitals when there's no one in there. You can't make that up because it's been exposed. People have seen it. You've seen too much evidence. You've seen the evidence of them using dolls. You've seen the evidence of people taking selfies or just, showing photographs or videos of themselves in the hospitals, and you don't see a damn person in there but that one person down a damn hallway. You can't make this stuff up. All of this has been exposed. The lies, the fact that the electrical service companies, the internet service companies have been installing 5G all the way since December, and probably before then too. And if it's going far back as December, it must have been even way before that too. It had to have been. They're at this point now. They're just playing pickup to try to get as much out there as they possibly can. But I believe they already since been covertly installed this stuff in random locations. But understand when that stuff was installed, when these people spoke out saying how this was installed, even before it was signed into Congress, that makes 5G illegal now because it wasn't legally tested and they illegally put this out there in random locations. People are still speaking out about what's going on, its negative effects, its harmful effects, the fact that it destroys the oxygen like molecules out in the atmosphere, out in the environment, which kills almost every living thing that can't and it just can't survive around that. We're already exposed to non-iodized radiation through our phones and many other different devices and many other different things that we use. But I wanted to let me get back on the main topic though. I wanted to make a playlist, and what this playlist is going to do, like I said before, it's going to convert all of these negative emotions that they try to enhance on you and try to impose and use in your targeting. I'm going to make a playlist that'll actually convert that energy into spiritual energy. So instead of it having that negative effect to try to force an action or force an emotional impulse of any kind, what it's technically going to do is actually have the reverse effect. So it doesn't trigger you into an action, and instead it helps strengthen you. From what I noticed, that raising spiritual vibrations is definitely a good thing that you want to do. Positive energy is definitely the main thing that is battling against these illegalized, weaponized weapons that they use on people. I want everybody to understand in my situation, like I stated before, I'm literally surrounded by these perps, even though I'm in a secure building. They're going upstairs to where that storage unit is at. I got perps on both sides of my apartment, and I possibly have one underneath me as well. So I'm literally just like boxed in here. But does that mean I'm completely defenseless? No, not by any means. No. But what I wanted to do is find ways to be able to reflect this stuff without using an actual device that channels and shoots it off. I wanted to just find something that can reflect non-iodized radiation, not harness and actually shoot it. Hence why they were trying to sell that stuff on the market, which I was warning TIs before, do not purchase that stuff. I don't care if you want to test it out, don't, because that's a tactic that they have. They're going to say, well, like, oh, this person is a TI. This person's been literally charting down all these levels. What's going to stop them from shooting their weapon on someone else? And while you having that weapon in your possession, right? That's even though you're using it for just for scientific purposes, just to see what it, just to see the effects of how you can maneuver it or try to, prevent it from hitting you. What's going to stop them from using their weapons to hit someone else? And then your videos come up of the EMF levels, and they're going to say, well, may have just been hitting yourself with this. You just literally gave them a leeway to discredit you. So I beg, please, I plead for all TIs, do not be tempted to buy that stuff. Don't, because they're gonna use that against you. And if they manage to do it, well, I fear for the worst, because it's not just gonna affect you; it's gonna affect many other TIs as well. But at the same time, we're all aware of how the enemy works. I wouldn't be surprised if they just had a decoy or go out and do some crap like that. But understand, at this point, back then there would have been a problem. But now, we don't have to worry about that. But I'm still just warning TIs just to be safe. Don't be tempted to buy that mess. Okay. I really don't have much time here. I'm only with like 9:05, and I gotta be there around 9:30. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Take care, stay safe, everybody. Judging from the situation, looks like I actually had a good idea as to what was going to happen. Like I stated before, the people who they had working for them turned against them, and it's starting to get to a point to where there's just more and more exposure happening. And the main people who are behind this it's only a matter of time before they get exposed. It's if that which it's hence why they're trying to basically open everything up now, because they don't want that exposure. They can't hold on for much longer because, well, it's gonna expose them, man. It's gonna expose them, which is why they turned it. Why this is why they're turning stuff back on. If you've seen Trump's recent speech, which states are gonna open up? Honestly, there's no telling. But here's the main issue, though. Even if the countries start to reopen, what about the food distributions? What about the places that are going to be delivering food? I give it about 2 weeks, and people are going to be end up realizing just how bad this is. They only said the states. They said nothing about the food chain supplies. They said nothing about seeds. They said nothing about any of that. You know. But understand why they made this drastic decision, why they're talking about reopening stuff. Understand that they would, the person who's responsible for all of this mess had no choice but to do it, because if they hadn't, they would have ended up being exposed. The fact that someone who recently was involved with the planning of this stuff came out and spoke out, that was the biggest giveaway right there. That was the biggest one of all. That right there was the most biggest threat that they would have ever had, because whoever that is would have known who they sold their stuff off to, and the people who they sold their stuff off to would have known who they sold it to. So I hope everybody starts to understand, like, the desperateness, and understand when it comes to this organization, everything that I have shown you on my channel, as far as all the evidence that is concerned, you need to understand all of this is the stuff that they don't want you to see. This is stuff they don't want you to know. And it's one of the main reasons as to why many of us targeted individuals is targeted, but primarily the real reason why we're targeted is because we just refuse to accept the bullshit within society. And honestly, if you were targeted at all at some point, there's two parts to this. Either you pissed off the wrong person, or you were targeted since birth. The only reason why I know I was targeted since birth is because of the symptoms and the stuff that happened way before, when I was a child, when I was nowhere near anybody and I was keeping to myself. And the only people I was playing around with when I was a kid, which was just other fellow kids in the neighborhood. That was it. When I was younger. So, and this was like in the slums too, like in the rural neighborhoods and stuff. So there would have been no chance that it happened. That's why the only reason of what happened would have had to have happened, because, well, I was targeted since birth. So certain things just happened that was I questioned. It was very suspicious, and I didn't know why it happened, for what reason, but eventually I found out. I can only imagine what it is from way back then that they don't want me to remember. And yes, when it came to this MK Ultra thing, they have been kidnapping people before, okay? They have done that. They have done this to kids. And my greatest fear even now is that they plan on trying to get them on those damn ships. If you have kids, do not send them to school when they reopen the schools, because they've already put the 5G in there, okay? Don't. I don't give a damn what they got to say. I don't give a damn what their excuse is. Don't do it, because if you do that, and I'm telling you, that's precisely what their next move is most likely going to be, because they already are trying to get healthy elderly on those ships. Chances are they're going to just flip the script on that and try to say, oh, well, like, we got to take these here. So this whole thing could be just a way to get you in a plain, simple scenario of comfortability. Understand, this whole thing is a mixture of both 5G, the non-ionized radiation. So it's not even just 5G, it's just non-iodized radiation, which is the main culprit. You're going to find that in many different things. So again, no, it's not just 5G, it's non-iodized radiation. That's the enemy in general, man. There's that, as well as the chemical, scientifically manufactured insect known as C19 that they put in the chemtrails. There's that too. If you want to know what the COVID-19 shit is, it's C19 mixed with non-iodized radiation. They basically spelled the shit out for you in your face, for people who don't know. The whole COVID thing is probably just an abbreviation for C19, but with the abbreviation of a few letters from the word non-iodized radiation mixed in between. So they basically just put it together to tell you that that's what they're doing to you. You basically take the C and the 19 out, you put that above, you get the bar in the middle, C19. Now there is a V in there. I'm not really sure what that would stand for. Could be an abbreviation for vendetta, maybe. Rebelling against the people, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let me check out what time it is. Yeah, I gotta get going. Take care, everyone.